My name is Dollie, and today you'll be traveling with me through my journey as a dollar in the school system. We're going to be using different bus routes through Duval County to see how my fellow dollars and I help provide the best education for our students. So let's go through my funding life. First station, revenue. There are 3 main pickup locations for all the dollars Duval County Public Schools receives. They're called the federal, state, and local bus stops. Let's start our journey by exploring where it all begins, revenue. This stop is where all the dollars from within Duval County come to fund DCPS. For the 2015-2016 fiscal year, local sources made up about 32% of its revenue. A fiscal year is the amount of time a budget lasts. For DCPS, the fiscal year is from July 1st through June 30th. Property taxes go towards local funding. In other words, homeowners in Duval County help support our schools. The state of Florida funds the largest percentage of the DCPS budget at 35%. Most of those funds are from the state sales tax. The state legislature allocates money to various school districts through the Florida Education Finance Program, or FEFP. The Supplemental Academic Instruction Fund was created to provide supplemental academic instruction to students in kindergarten through grade 12. These funds are used in addition to the funds appropriated through FEFP. Supplemental instruction strategies may include, but are not limited to, modified curriculum, reading instruction, tutoring, and other methods for improving student achievement. SAI supports students during or beyond the regular 180-day term to help students progress from grade to grade and eventually graduate. The United States government also provides funds to DCPS. Many of these dollars can only be used for specific projects. 3 of the programs the federal government funds are called IDEA, Title I, and Title II. IDEA is a federal program that funds initiatives and staff specifically for students with certain disabilities that hinder them from progressing in school. This program was created to give all students access to free and appropriate public education regardless of ability. Title I is a program that began with the passage of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, or ESEA. Its primary purpose is to provide supplemental funds for students in order to shrink the achievement gap in high-poverty schools by focusing on student achievement, parental involvement, high-quality teaching, professional development, and supplemental services. For example, the principal of a Title I high school wants to have an extra math teacher in an Algebra I class to lower the student-to-teacher ratio. If I came from Title I funds, he or she could use me to pay for the extra teacher. Title II is called the Teacher and Principal Training and Recruiting Fund. These funds are used to increase academic achievement by improving teacher and principal quality. Professional development trainings provide support for all teachers and leaders in learning core content and new instructional strategies to implement Common Core standards. My colleagues who have taken the Title II bus might be used to fund professional development trainings to ensure every student receives the best education possible. Let's hop on this bus and see where it takes us. Whew! Now that roughly 1.7 billion of my colleagues have arrived at DCPS from all the different places, we need to get our new tickets from the central station so we can ride the Expenditures buses. The Treasury Station is similar to the Financial Control Center of DCPS. It collaborates with the bank and all the different bus routes. It makes sure all the funds that enter DCPS are accounted. When payments need to be made, it ensures there's enough money in the account to pay it all. The Treasury has an average daily balance of $20 million. This money is used to pay employees and keep schools running, among other things. If the balance is over $20 million, Treasury puts all extra money into various investment accounts, such as the Special Purpose Investment Account, or Florida Prime. This way, DCPS will have a safe place to keep the money and can earn interest on its investments to pay for more programs that support education. We will visit this station more in a moment. We're almost ready for our tickets. Before dollars like me can travel around on the Expenditures buses, the superintendent and senior staff create a plan for every dollar that DCPS will receive, and the school board approves it for the upcoming fiscal year. Then the Budget Services Department executes the plan. In other words, they provide bus tickets for us to travel around the system. They make sure every dollar goes to the correct stop. Throughout the year, this department oversees that everyone at DCPS is spending within their budget and on the correct items. For example, you shouldn't spend me on textbooks when I have a ticket for the employee benefits bus. Duval County had over $1.7 billion in the revenue for the 2015-2016 fiscal year. 30% of the revenue went towards a specific purpose. The remainder is placed in a general fund, which is divided up to pay for things like salaries, textbooks, and school buses. Of the roughly $1 billion in general funds, DCPS spent 44% of it on salaries and benefits. 24% of expenditures is spent on materials, supplies, and other tools for student success. Okay, we have our tickets. Now let's head over to see which expenditure bus we'll be taking next. Now that DCPS has over $1.7 billion, let's see where we'll end up. Some of the incoming dollars must get off at a specific stop to do one job. Those dollars are called restricted funds. Others are more general and may have multiple bus stops they can use. I'm in the general fund, so maybe I'll help pay for a teacher's salary, a field trip ticket, or even classroom supplies. Our first stop will be payroll. The payroll bus stop makes sure everyone at Duval County Public Schools gets paid for the work they do. If the payroll department wasn't around, people might get paid too little, too much, or not at all. For a new hire, there are many steps that need to be taken before he or she can receive their first paycheck. First, the budget department needs to allocate the funds needed to support the new position. Then, Human Resources hires an excellent employee to fill the position and complete the new hire process. Now payroll can begin the payment process. Payroll will know any deductions like union dues and will draw them from the paycheck. After the total is calculated, payroll will tell Treasury that it will be paying a certain amount to employees so it can ensure there are sufficient funds in the DCPS bank account. With Treasury monitoring the process, payroll will then send out the money through direct deposit or manual checks. Who knew so much hard work needs to be done for someone to receive his or her paycheck? When an employee like a teacher or principal at DCPS wants to retire, Human Resources must be notified so it can begin the exit interview process. The retiree must return all of the district's property before he or she can receive his or her final manual paycheck. As a retiree, you can opt to participate in the Deferred Retirement Option Program or DROP, which allows retirees to continue working for up to 5 years. While working, any benefits that would normally go towards retirement will be placed in a trust fund earning interest. After DROP ends, the DROP account will be paid in a lump sum payment to the retiree. Also, any unused sick or annual leave will be placed in a Florida retirement investment plan called BENCOR. At the end of employment, a percentage of those benefits will be paid. Now that we know about payroll, let's learn how the district purchases items to support the education of our students. This bus stop connects with the outside businesses and vendors so I can pay them for different services or products they provide DCPS and its schools. Vendors range from insurance companies to museums. Let's look at an example. A principal wants to buy 3 computers at $5,000 each. This request is called a purchase requisition, or PR, and it must be signed by an originator, also known as the person who makes the request. Before the computers can be purchased, many steps have to be taken to approve of the PR. First, the budget department must approve the request. Then, a project manager will be assigned to the PR. Third, purchases that will become district property must be approved by the property management department. Next, the Office of Economic Opportunity must approve purchases of over $1,000. In addition, all technology purchases must be approved by the Information Technology Department. After each department has approved the purchase, a purchase order is given to the originator, who then orders the computers. After the computers are received, the originator will submit a goods receipt and invoice to the Accounts Payable Department. Finally, the vendor will be paid by the Accounts Payable Department. As you can see, there are many steps for purchasing items at DCPS. The School Internal Accounts bus stops contains monies collected and distributed by school personnel within a school for the benefit of the school or a school-sponsored activity. These funds can be received from and or spent on the following activities: athletics, music, classes, clubs, departments, trusts, or general. I could have arrived here if a parent used me to pay for her child's field trip to Mosh next month. After the child turns me in to his teacher, the teacher writes a receipt to the child and creates a report to take to the bookkeeper. The bookkeeper deposits my friends and me into the school safe. Then an armored car will come pick me up and deposit me into the school's account. On the Oversight route, there are 2 main buses that constantly circle around the perimeter of DCPS: internal auditing and accounting. This department makes sure all policies are followed. For example, full-time equivalent, or FTE, provides the Florida Department of Education a snapshot of how many students are enrolled in a school and how much instructional activity is going on in Florida's public schools. Each school has to report their FTE numbers to receive state funds. Internal auditing makes sure schools have calculated those numbers correctly so they can receive the correct amount of funding. In this department, instead of looking at policies, accounting looks more at the numbers. They make sure each dollar that comes in is revenue, or every dollar that is spent is in the right place. In other words, they balance the checkbook for DCPS. All of these bus routes work together to ensure every dollar is routed to the correct bus stop. My family, friends, and I are used to build safe schools led by effective administrators. We fill classrooms with hardworking and prepared educators. We provide students with healthy meals and powerful educational opportunities. And this happens every day.